Hello viewers, welcome to a lecture series on Indian ethos in management, and today we are going to start a new topic in this segment called Towards a New Social Vision, and this is going to be part 1 of our discussion on this very topic of Towards a New Social Vision. And the agenda of this entire topic is why and how. Why do we need a new social vision? Why do we need a social vision which is new? It means that the old one is not workable, or old one is not working in that manner in which it was supposed to. And when we decide that yes, we need a new social vision, then the second question which comes to us is, how are we going to perform? What would be the modus operandi of implementing or reaching to this new social vision? Where should the world head for? What should be our direction when we go for sustainability, when we go for achieving our goals? And when we talk about the holistic development and management and transcendental management, what is the role of these two ideas called HDM and TM into this new social vision? There are different models like 3T model, 3C model, CCS model, MMC model and 3E model, and there is another vision called GRS vision. What is the implication of that, and how it is going to be used? So this entire discussion is based on some of the research papers published by Professor Subhash Sharma, which he has published in his book also. So the credit goes to that author who has contributed to Indian ethos in management in a very significant manner, and there he talked about towards a new social vision. So I thought it pertinent to include it into our series of lectures on Indian ethos in management. So these ideas and dimensions I am going to present before you in this very lecture of mine. So what exactly the world need as on date? We all understand that in this era of globalization, the entire world needs a new vision to go beyond various isms. We have different isms. Somebody talks about the capitalism, somebody talks about socialism. So we cannot work on two different continents. We cannot talk about the two different extremes. We should not be extremist enough when we have adopted, when we understand that now the entire world is globalized. So the distances have got eliminated. Now we can discuss, we can transact with any country in the world. So we have to understand that in this era of globalization, we cannot go ahead with any kind of ism into our mind. We have to be balanced. Now how to maintain that balance, that is something which is a $1,000,000 question, that how to maintain that balance. So this new vision is captured by three fundamental colors of life, and that is given by the author in the as an acronym called GRS approach, where the G stands for green, R stands for red, and S stands for saffron. So green, red and saffron, these are three fundamental colors which are going to capture this entire new vision, what the entire world needs. So green is actually signifying or denoting prosperity here. So green is indicative or reflective of prosperity. Red is the indicator of equity, or what you call as equality, that you have to ensure that there is no divide among the people at large. And the saffron denotes spirituality. So we need prosperity, we need equity and equality, but what about spirituality? Can we ignore that? Answer is no. So we have to, as long as we abide by the directions of Indian ethos in management, we have to maintain a balance between among the three. And this is something which I will be placing before you with the help of different examples, different models and different theories which are given there into Indian ethos in management. So in this entire GRS vision, which is green, red and saffron, there is a balancing between prosperity, equity and spirituality. So when we say that our vision should be GRS, it means we are indicating, we are actually giving an indication that we have to maintain the balance among prosperity, equity and spirituality. If you are prospering but you are not equitable, you can't survive for long, you can't sustain for long. If you are prospering, you are maintaining equality, but you are not spiritual, then of course your sustainability is going to be in question. You cannot sustain with those organizations which are not having any spiritual base. If you are earning by some unethical ways and means, and then to maintaining your equality, or what you call as equity among your employees, but still you can't survive for long, you can't sustain for long with this kind of business model. And here, my dear learners, the GRS corresponds to three fundamental ideas also. So GRS is basically a broad term. It can be taken as a broad term which is indicative of not only the prosperity, equity and spirituality, but it also corresponds to fundamental ideas called market, society and spirituality, market, society and self. So GRS is which is merely regarded as a reflection of three different colors: green, red, and saffron. Now, when we start discussing about that, it is not only including your prosperity, equity, and spirituality, but also corresponding to the fundamental ideas of market, society, and spirituality, what you call as self. We cannot ignore market, we can't ignore society, we can't ignore self. All three are supposed to be given the due importance. So if we are using the language of isms, then GRS refers to a new blending of capitalism, socialism and spiritualism. So three different isms come in front of us: capitalism, socialism and spiritualism. And GRS is giving a reflection of creating a blend of all three. That I am not denying to the capitalism, I am not denying to the benefits which capitalism is creating for me. I am not denying to the concern raised by the people who are propagators or followers of socialism. That is equally important. But what about spiritualism? What about creating an ethical base for your organization? That should be your vision, and that vision would lead to an organization which is sustainable in nature, which is more sustainable. So what the world needs actually, world needs holistic development of this entire universe, and for that there is a need for balancing between prosperity, equity and spirituality. So we have to maintain a balance among prosperity, equity and spirituality, which is reflected through competition, cooperation and connectivity approaches. We can compete, but we should not forget the benefit of cooperating with each and every person, each and every institution or each and every stakeholders. So competition, cooperation and connectivity, this approach will actually help you in ensuring the holistic development, and this is what the world wants. And for that, where should we head towards? What should be our direction? Where should we look for? This vision takes us beyond the existing isms, and it offers us a direction for a new integration. We are finding a new a direction for a new integration of different ideas emanating from different isms about society and human life. So whatever different isms are telling us or guiding us about society and human life, about the way we have to run an organization or we have to lead our life into this society, this vision, just GRS vision, is giving us a direction for a new integration, that all those ideas need to be integrated in place of making them competitive in nature, in place of rejecting one, accepting other, or trying to browbeat with your idea which is emanating from the ism to which you abide by, is not going to give us any fruitful results. If we really want that my company should prosper, my nation should prosper, my society should prosper, then for that we have to take the best one. Again, I would repeat that we belong to a nation where we believe into Ano Bhadra Krituvo Yantu Vishwata. We know that let the noble idea come to us from each and every dimension. So we should take the best from every ism in place of finding flaws or faults into those isms. We should try to take the best out of them, and that is what this new vision requires. It requires integration. It requires integration of various ideas about society and human life, and GRS vision in this way is also linked with certain models to organize human life and activities. This GRS vision is giving us different models, it is offering us different models, and rather I would say it is linked to those models. GRS is giving us three important ideas by different colors, that these colors are indicative of these important aspects, and accordingly we have to organize human life and activities. So to ensure holistic development and management and transcendental management, we have to go by different models. We can integrate those models, we can include those models into RKT. The first one is called as 3T model. Here the T is an alphabet which is being used here repeatedly, and I'll be telling you what is there into it. So 3T model refers to the three approaches to life. First is transactional, second is transformational, and third is transcendental. So 3T model is a reflective of the three different approaches, and we call it that some of them are having some economic supremacy, they are focusing towards the economic aspect, whereas some of them they are focusing towards the market. So this transactional, transformational and transcendental, these three approaches are very much important, and this 3T model combines all three. The question comes, what is transactional? Transactional as the term itself is giving us the indication that it is market focused, where we talk about the transactions which we are making with each and every stakeholder. But if we look at transformational approach, the entire idea is getting changed. Transformational approach is basically humanistic and society focused. You are focusing towards society, you are more and more humanistic or human oriented. You look at your human resources because you believe into creating a leadership or giving a leadership to an organization which is regarded as transformational one in nature, that you are having that potential capacity and capability to transform that entire organization. Having said organization, it means we are not only talking about the properties or the assets of that company, we are talking about those assets which are called as human assets as well. So the real transformation comes from your workforce. So here we are basically our approach is towards society, and it is humanistic in nature, largely humanistic in nature. And in transcendental approach, our approach is spiritualistic, or we basically focus on the entire cosmos, this entire creation of some supreme power, to which we call as almighty, to which we call as nature. So green color here in this 3T model, if we integrate it with GRS model, this green color represents T1, and this red color represents T2, and the saffron represents T3. So the saffron is indicative of the spiritual aspect, and that is called, and that is actually being followed by the transcendental approach. So T1, T2 and T3, if we integrate them with GRS way of drafting vision document for your organization, which is also called as towards a new vision, this green color represents T1, or you can say T1 is represented by green color, T2 is represented by the red color, and T3 is represented by the saffron one. So whether it is transactional or it is transcendental or it is transformational, they are integrated with this GRS approach. And in GRS, if we look at the entire philosophy, T1, T2 and T3, all are integrated in a very proper manner, or they are integrated very aptly. We do not find them to be competitive in nature, they are cooperative in nature, they cooperate with each other. So this 3T model is basically there to tell us that from where we started our journey and where are we heading for. So transcendental management is actually the future, transformational is already done. So the future belongs to transcendental way of doing the management work. The next model which comes in front of us, which can be integrated with GRS model, is CCS model. And when we say CCS, it is again an acronym which can be translated to competition, cooperation and symbiosis. So competition, cooperation and symbiosis, these words they do not require any explanation, but the nature itself displays three levels of behavior, that is competition, cooperation and symbiosis. We find the presence of these three levels of behavior in the nature itself. In societies also, if we cast our eyes, we find a manifestation of these three aspects of nature, and in the form of individualism, collectivism and altruism, as it is reflected through spiritual connectivity, we find that they are present. We find their presence, the presence of competition, cooperation and symbiosis in the name of individualism, collectivism and altruism. So all these things are present there, it is only for us to integrate them. And this is why, my dear learners, I keep on saying that you can find data on different search engines, but to interpret that, to convert that information into knowledge, you require the guidance of some people who can actually give meaning to those values which are given, those informations which are given to us. So in order to transform those informations or data into the knowledge source, we have to actually follow the CCS model. We should have that vision of GRS where we give due recognition to competition, cooperation and symbiosis, all three. So these three aspects correspond to green, red and saffron approaches to life. And my dear learners, those who actually study international business, they find that the Hofstede in the year of 1980, in his study of societies, he actually classified in terms of individualism and collectivism. So it has also been well accepted by the Western thinkers and philosophers as well. So they have been giving due recognition to this individualism and collectivism. So he did not, their Hofstede did not account for connectivity and altruism dimensions which actually exist in societies. So out of GRS in Hofstede model, G and R was taken care of, but somehow the spiritualism, the spirituality, that aspect was missing. So he did not account for connectivity and altruism dimensions that exist in society. So you can consider this entire discussion or discourse as an extension to what the Western thinkers who have given this discussion, who have actually given this entire idea of individualism and collectivism while studying the societies across the globe. So we have to find integration among all three, because without integration you cannot achieve the desired goals. The next comes as matter, mind and consciousness, and as an acronym it is represented by MMC, matter, mind and consciousness. Here the matter, mind and consciousness, they are indicative of gross, subtle and very subtle dimensions of life and existence. So you find them you find them playing different roles, matter, mind and consciousness. They also refer to physical, mental and spiritual aspect of life. Having said the physical aspect of life, we are indicating towards matter. Mental, of course, it is indicative of mind, and spiritual is indicative of consciousness. Whether my consciousness, whether my conscious permits me to take this step or not. So we have to understand, my dear learners, that MMC model is again representing the matter, mind and consciousness in a different manner. And if we integrate it to GRS, that is that color system which we discussed at the very outset, while green color is indicative of gross physical and matter dimensions, red is indicative of subtle aspect and saffron is indicative of very subtle or their spiritual dimension. So why I am actually drawing a comparison between GRS and these different models which are already into existence, just to give you, just to explain it to you, that at the core of each and every model which is there into the practice for strategic management, at the core you find GRS to be there. You find that prosperity cannot be denied. You find that the spiritualism cannot be denied. It cannot be discounted. So in MMC integration, we get the holistic view of life. When I say holistic, it means we are talking about the sustainable one, because matter, mind and consciousness, all three are important. Just like in GRS we talk about different colors and their role, green, red and the saffron. So their role is, they are basically representing again matter, mind and consciousness. Another model which comes in front of us is 3 E's model. Now what is this 3 E's model? Again we have three different words for it, which starts from alphabet E. So it is efficiency, equity and ethics, and the interrelationship between them. So we have to understand the role of efficiency, equity and ethics, and then only we can talk about integrating all three to ensure the desired results, to ensure the achievement of desired results. And metaphorically, if we represent by the three wise men, it is called as Adam Smith, Marx and Gandhi. And in GRS vision we can find the very well integration of these three important aspects. So if you go by three important thinkers and you wish to integrate these 3 E's with their name, you will find that efficiency can be integrated to Adam Smith, equity can be integrated to Marx, and ethics can be integrated with Mahatma Gandhi. So in GRS vision you can find the integration of these three important terms, that they are representative of these three different aspects as well. So my dear learners, what I am willing to tell you here is that GRS is the most comprehensive way of reaching to the brand new vision of your organization or your society or your nation, because it is so comprehensive that it includes everything. It includes all the dimensions what we actually need for making our organization or nation a sustainable one. Another concept which is very much popular nowadays because of this corporate social responsibility, the concept of corporate social responsibility called triple bottom line. So GRS vision also gives an idea about the concept of triple bottom line, which is actually captured through the concept of people, profit and planet. So we give importance to people, we give significance to profit and of course the planet, although it is written like profit, planet, people and planet. So profit is given the precedence over is given the topmost place by every organization, and then comes people and at the end comes planet. So profit, people, planet, these three are again the reflective of what we wish to achieve. In GRS vision again the green is indicative of profit, that we are, because we talk about prosperity and prosperity comes from the profit only. Red is indicative of corporate social responsibility, and saffron is indicative of good governance. You are making profit, you are spending on CSR activities, but whether your governance is effective or not, the way you implement those strategies, that is more important than what you are doing. Because if you are making profit by unethical ways and means and then spending some part of it on CSR, you cannot think of creating a machine where you are processing all your sins and by simply spending some amount on CSR and then saying that my company is the most ethical one in the world and it has all the right to be sustainable. So we cannot have that kind of machine here. We have to understand, my dear learners, that this good governance is always at the core. So if you look at this GRS from the perspective of governance, you find the definition there. Because spiritualism doesn't mean talking about the religious rituals. It actually is it is again a very broad term to understand. It requires some explanation, it requires some definition, and it defines itself that good governance is very much part of that spiritualism, which in GRS vision is indicated by the color saffron. So GRS values refer to three types of values. One is market value, then comes social value, and eventually comes what is the most desired one nowadays, it is called spiritual values. So market values, they are actually represented by profit, competition and self-interest, which is again explained by an acronym called PCS, that is profit, competition and self-interest. And PCS worldview, that you live in a world where the profit, the competition and self-interest are basically the faces to which you interact. If we talk about the social values, you find an acronym called JRD, justice, rights and duties. So JRD worldview and spiritual values are represented by LCD, that is love, compassion and devotion. So are we heading towards a creation of an organization or a nation where people don't have compassion, they are not devoted, they don't have any affection for each other? Of course, if that is the case, you can't sustain for long. So social values are represented by JRD, which means we need justice, we need right and duties, but along with that, what is much more needed than all these things, because these are basic requirements. To sustain for long, we require love, compassion and devotion as well, which is also explained by L1, L2 and L3, which is broadly in consonance with body, mind and spirit view of human beings. L1, L2 and L3 model, this model is it actually refers to 3 steps of self evolution. It is represented where the first L1 is represented by lust, L2 is represented by love and L3 is represented by light, and all three lead to the 4th step of our life, that is called liberation. So it starts from L1, take halts at L2 and then goes to L3, and eventually the 4th step is there, which is going to liberate us. So L1 implies the mindset where the body centric or materialistic activities are being performed. We are too much materialistic when we take L1, when we talk about L1. When we look at L2, that is love, it implies a mindset which is humanistic and driven by our heart, where we give due importance to our affection, to our heart. And L3, that is light, it implies mindset in is actually cosmic and consciousness. It evolves from Hans to Rajhans to Paramhans level. If we look at, if we try to find the appropriate word for this concept from Indian ethos in Hindi language, we find Hans to Rajhans and then Paramhans levels, which is represented by cosmic enlightenment and awakening, and we call it CEA. So my dear learners, in this way we have understood the very much very important role of GRS vision and its integration with different other models. But when it comes to the implications of this GRS vision, it is not only applicable for any organization but also for individuals and society. For individual, it can be a balancing exercise between the 1, 2 and 3, W1, W2 and W3. I am just giving you an example, that W1 wealth in terms of physical asset, which is represented by green. W2 is wealth in terms of goodwill or social values which you are creating, the social capital which you have created, it is represented by red. And third wealth is in terms of spiritual capital, which is represented by saffron. So this is actually the implication of this entire GRS vision for business organizations. I will be explaining to you the implication of this vision for societies and organizations as well in due course of our discussion. I hope you must have enjoyed today's lecture of mine. Thank you so much.